नमस्कार, स्वागतम, सुस्वागतम। नव वर्ष मंगलमय हो पूरी सभी की शुभ आशाएं, प्रेम शांति से सजे दिशाएं, सीप में मोती दीप में ज्योति, जैसा सुफल समय हो, नव वर्ष मंगलमय हो। इन्हीं शुभकामनाओं के साथ आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत, हार्दिक अभिनंदन और जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत करना चाहेंगे आज के हमारे प्रमुख अतिथि माननीय डॉक्टर नौशाद फोर्ब्स जी हमारे बीच उपस्थित हो चुके हैं। हमारे निदेशक माननीय डॉक्टर आशीष लेले जी आपसे नम्र निवेदन करेंगे, कृपया मंच पे अपना स्थान ग्रहण कीजिए। इससे पहले कि कार्यक्रम शुरू हो, आप सभी से नम्र निवेदन कि कृपया अपने मोबाइल साइलेंट मोड में डाल लीजिए। बड़े ही हर्ष और गौरव का विषय है कि नव वर्ष की इन्हीं शुभकामनाओं के साथ आज हमारे प्रतिष्ठित एनसीएल का स्थापना दिवस मनाया जा रहा है। हमारी इस विश्व प्रसिद्ध लैब की स्थापना 1950 में हुई थी और इन वर्षों में एनसीएल ने साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट के क्षेत्र में अपनी एक अलग ही राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर पहचान बनाई है। और आज हम इस मुकाम पर खड़े हैं कि आज हम अपना 74वां फाउंडेशन डे मना रहे हैं और इस प्रकार हम प्लेटिनम जुबली वर्ष में भी प्रवेश कर चुके हैं, जो कि अत्यंत विशिष्ट है। इस सुनहरे अवसर पर मैं आज के कार्यक्रम के प्रमुख अतिथि माननीय डॉक्टर नौशाद फोर्ब्स जी का पूरे CSIR-NCL परिवार की ओर से हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन करना चाहूँगी। इसके साथ ही मैं हमारे माननीय निदेशक माननीय डॉक्टर आशीष लेले जी और सभी सम्मानित पूर्व निदेशक जो ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन रूप से इस कार्यक्रम से जुड़े हैं, उनका भी हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन करती हूँ। इसके अलावा ऑनलाइन ऑफलाइन रूप से जुड़े सभी HODs, सभी वैज्ञानिकों, सभी स्टाफ सदस्यों, हमारे सभी प्रिय PhD स्टूडेंट्स और बाहर के संस्थानों से जुड़े आप सभी सम्मानित जनों का, प्रत्येक जन का हार्दिक हार्दिक स्वागत, अभिनंदन, वंदन करती हूँ। और मुझे सूचना मिली है कि डायरेक्टर ISIR और डायरेक्टर HEMRL भी यहाँ पर उपस्थित हैं। मैं उनका भी विशेष रूप से स्वागत, अभिनंदन करना चाहूँगी। कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए, जैसे कि हमारी परंपरा है, भारतीय परंपरा, स्वागत सत्कार, मैं हमारे माननीय निदेशक महोदय से निवेदन करूँगी कि कृपया आज के कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि का स्वागत करें। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है सर, पूरे NCL परिवार की ओर से। बहुत बहुत स्वागत और अभिनंदन है सर पूरे परिवार की ओर से। और तत्पश्चात कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ हमारे परम माननीय निदेशक NCL माननीय डॉक्टर आशीष लेले सर को कि इस अवसर पर वे आप सभी को संबोधित करें।
Dr. Nashad Forbes, Dr. Anil Prasad Dash. I think Sunil is not here. I don't see him in the audience. All the distinguished invitees in the auditorium, all those who are joining online, my dear colleagues and dear students. Let me first wish all of you and your families, your near and dear ones, a new year 2024 full of lot of joy, good health, fulfillment, peace and tranquility. The beginning of each new year has a special value for NCLites because we get to celebrate it along with our Foundation Day. And today's Foundation Day is extra special because it is really and truly the curtain raiser of our Platinum Jubilee celebrations. Next year, on the 3rd of January 2025, we will reach an important milestone of 75 years of our service to the nation. And I look forward to celebrating this entire year with each and every one of you through various events which we will organize to showcase both our past and our present achievements. 2023 has been an eventful year for us. All of you, whether from scientific divisions, resource centers, support units, all of you really and truly have worked tirelessly to achieve very difficult targets that we have set for ourselves. Some of you, I know, have even worked beyond your normal call of duty to contribute to NCL. And I want to congratulate all of you and express my deep gratitude to you. I want to give a quick summary of what we did in 2023. First and foremost, we continued to do really high quality science, and all the students here are first and foremost responsible for doing this wonderful science that we keep doing. We not only published about 350 papers last year with an average impact factor of 5.8, but I'm very happy to say that 25% of CSIR's papers across CSIR having impact factors above 15 were published from this very laboratory. 10 of our colleagues won various national and international awards, and some of you became members of editorial boards of very prominent journals. Few of you were also recognized as fellows of very prestigious national academies. We earned about 30 crores as external cash by doing our research, translating it, and half of that came from industrial collaborations. These numbers are actually not bad. They are 10 to 20% higher than the previous calendar year, and they're actually numbers on a monetary value basis and per capita. If I were to calculate, these numbers are actually a little higher than what we achieved 12 years ago, which means that not only has our performance risen back to the pre-COVID levels, but we have managed to do a little better as we move ahead. And I feel this is really and truly remarkable. Many teams of scientists and students have been deeply involved in key technology development projects, which are part of our thematic roadmap. We made significant advances in the hydrogen mission program with respect to globally benchmarked technologies like the anion exchange membrane electrolyzer, the first to the world recyclable composites of high pressure cylinders, improved fuel cell performances, indigenous design and development of test stations, and so on. Our contributions to the R&D section of the National Green Hydrogen Mission Document Policy that has been formally recognized by MNRE, and I think we must take a great pride in the fact that the national document, the policy document for green hydrogen, has a section that was entirely conceived and written by NCL. We also played a key role in organizing the largest green hydrogen conference in Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi last year, where almost more than 4,500 people from companies, from ministries, from academia, they all participated. And we had a key role in organizing that conference. We made good progress in developing several novel process intensification technologies for bulk chemicals and fine and specialty chemicals. 2 of these were licensed in the last calendar year, and we are building a major public-private partnership program in this theme involving both large and small industries, together with public funding from both India and from abroad, and with the goal of decarbonizing this very, very important sector for India. In the last calendar year, we received in-principle approval for setting up a first 2.5 tons per day pilot plant for manufacturing DME, which is based on our IP-protected technology, and this plant will also be digitally twinned. We hope to move swiftly on this project in this current year. We have worked with Indian industries and the National Biopharma Mission to develop end-to-end technologies for many biotherapeutics, which have a clear freedom to operate. And going ahead, and in anticipation of rapid growth in biomanufacturing sector, we will strengthen the interface of chemistry and biology in NCL. During 2023, we also made useful contributions to waste plastic depolymerization mission, biomass valorization, and agri-tech themes. Just as an example, I don't have time to tell you everything about what we've done in these areas, but just as an example, I would like to mention our work in catalyzing meetings of many stakeholders, which included farmers, tribals, NGOs, line ministries, to push for the use of very sophisticated analytical tools and also data analytics to quantify the purity of Indian honey and unlock its market potential both in India and abroad. This is just an example. We also developed an end-to-end indigenous process technology for manufacturing globally benchmarked zeolite X grades, which are widely used for gas purification. And as part of the first demonstrated success of this technology, we are proud to say that our know-how has been used to refurbish the oxygen generation systems on board MiG-29 fighter aircrafts of the Indian Air Force. And going ahead, we will push the introduction of these zeolites in biogas purification, which is coming in a very big way in India on the back of the Satat scheme of the government, which is going to be used for sustainable mobility and other applications. All our resource centers have played a key role in supporting these science and technology programs. The newly formed Center for Analytical Facility has created transparent and user-friendly processes to access our analytical service facilities, both from within NCL as well as for users outside NCL. The National Center for Industrial Microorganisms was one of the first groups in India to start wastewater surveillance during the pandemic. And for the past 3 years, they have consistently shared information with PMC, and we were the first to alert the authorities for the rising trends in Omicron and recently the JN1 variant. The Technology Management Group has helped seal more than 135 agreements and 6 licensing deals in the calendar year 23. The PME team helped to ensure that all processes related to project creation and monitoring were done very efficiently. Our IP group helped secure 93 patents, which amounted to a third of CSIR's patents. The group was recognized by the Indian Patent Office on the World IP Day for its efforts to strengthen the IP ecosystem in India. Our ACSIR coordinators and the Student Academic Office have supported the large JRF and SRF community in NCL with their various academic processes. Our library worked closely with CSIR to enable the availability of e-publications to all of us at very affordable rates. Our Publication and Science Communication Group ensured that NCL was consistently in news both in social and print media. The Jigyasa Group brought hundreds of school kids to NCL on many occasions and showcased our R&D activities in an engaging way. The Network Administration Group ensured that all IT-related services were provided with minimal interruptions, despite the significant digging that has been happening all around NCL. The engineering services and the horticulture teams have provided important support to keep our campus and our environment clean and in working condition. In fact, we have also completed an energy audit of our lab, basis which actions will be taken this year to reduce emissions and to save costs. No function in NCL, including this function, can be done without the superb support of the small but highly efficient and motivated event management team. The lab safety team has continuously strived to ensure that we work safely and learn and adopt safe practices when we work in our labs. The finance and accounts team and the stores and purchase teams have provided efficient support to ensure that CSR funds were received, procurements were completed, and expenditure was done on time. Our general administration helped immensely in resolving long-standing difficult issues, particularly related to recruitment and some pending complex legal matters. Oftentimes, we scientists fail to understand and appreciate the complexities and the pressures that are associated with these jobs. But some of you have contributed also immensely to many administrative matters of the laboratory, in addition to doing the great science that you continue to do. And so I want to congratulate each and every one of you for all your efforts and your contributions to this laboratory. As I said in the beginning, today is really a special day for us. As we move closer to 3rd January 2025, we must remind ourselves of the legacy of this amazing laboratory. I suppose there are not many institutions in this country or elsewhere which began their journey blessed by 5 Nobel laureates on the first foundation day, and the Prime Minister of the country himself articulating the very purpose of this laboratory. Since then, NCL has always tried to synergize curiosity-driven research with application-oriented development. It is from this very laboratory that classic textbooks on dye-stuff chemistry and heterogeneous chemical reactions were published and are widely used by the chemical industry. Classic papers such as the series of 10 publications on polyester reaction engineering was published in this laboratory and eventually used by large companies like Aspen. A classic body of work on soft sensors and nonlinear dynamics of chemical reactions was carried out in this laboratory, which is so much in vogue today in the form of machine learning and artificial intelligence. And some of the first US patents from this country from a publicly funded laboratory were published and licensed for almost $1 million several years ago. This laboratory has also developed critical technologies in agrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, catalysis, and polymers. And this laboratory has also provided thought leadership in science over the past 7 decades to the entire country. All of us must be mindful of these achievements because it is now our responsibility, the responsibility of all of us, to make impactful contributions in this decade. On this very day next year, when we will be celebrating 75 years, half of the decade will be already behind us. We are 2025, which means that we will have only 5 more years left to make a mark that will be worth quoting in NCL's history. But I do believe that we have already made a good start. We have an excellent thematic roadmap that is crafted to align with national and global megatrends. We have initiated ambitious projects aligned with the roadmap. By delivering the promised targets of these projects, we will be able to make worthwhile contributions. I really and truly believe that. However, we will need new business models and monitoring mechanisms for chaperoning our science through the TRLs all the way to commercialization by building key strategic partnerships. I believe that some of these partnerships must be built with the rapidly growing startup ecosystem in this country. Indeed, we have all the ingredients for success. We have enormous scientific talent, we have great infrastructure, almost assured funding, goodwill with industry, a robust roadmap to support our vision, a vibrant venture center, and aligned functional units and resource centers. Yes, of course, there are challenges. I'm not denying it. But trust me when I say that challenges exist in every institution, whether public or private. And everyone thinks that our challenges are more difficult than those in the other institutions. This is a myth. It is better to focus on our strengths and build on them rather than dwell on problems and get sidetracked. I appeal to each and every one of you to give your best to this institution and to work truly as one NCL team. We have always done great things when we worked as a team. The 1 week, 1 lab event in 2023 is a recent evidence of this. Let us support each other, continuously upgrade and improve, set high aspirations, work hard, and excel in each other's company. Let these be the important pledges that we make in this Platinum Jubilee year. I too have set myself some goals for this and the following 2 years. NCL's large projects are now in the safe hands of all of you, and that allows me to focus on a few new initiatives. One of my dreams is to be able to create the Pune Green Hydrogen Valley, which has been conceived by this laboratory, and if achieved will be one of the first in this country. I would like to create a new archive-cum-exhibition hall right opposite this auditorium, renovate a few large lab facilities, increase the greening of our campus, improve student residential facilities, increase industry connects, drive recruitments, and improve the general administration systems. Very soon, I would also like to formally announce the creation of the NCL Alumni Association. Therefore, I look forward to working closely with each and every one of you. Let us all make this year a truly memorable year for NCL. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपकी प्रेरणा, आपके मार्गदर्शन के लिए, और आपने एनसीएल की अब तक की तमाम उपलब्धियों की चर्चा की और साथ ही अगले वर्ष के लिए, आने वाले समय के लिए जो लक्ष्य बताए उनके लिए भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और एनसीएल को जिन ऊंचाइयों पर ले जाने का स्वप्न आपने देखा है, आपका जो विज़न है, मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि निश्चित रूप से पूर्ण होगा और उसमें आप सभी वैज्ञानिकों का, स्टाफ सदस्यों का जोरदार समर्थन, पूरा समर्थन प्राप्त होगा। यही आशा है, यही उम्मीद है। और यह भी हम लोगों का सौभाग्य है कि जब एनसीएल अपने प्लेटिनम जुबली वर्ष में प्रवेश कर रहा है तो आपका मार्गदर्शन हमें प्राप्त हो रहा है। तो जोरदार तालियों से समर्थन दीजिए सर को। और इसके उपरांत बारी है आज के कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि फाउंडेशन डे लेक्चर प्रदान करेंगे, जिसके लिए आप सभी लोग बहुत उत्सुक हैं, लेकिन उनका संक्षिप्त परिचय देने की जिम्मेदारी मुझे सौंपी गई है। हालांकि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर विख्यात व्यक्ति आप सभी जानते हैं, पर चंद पंक्तियां उनके बारे में बताऊंगी कि डॉक्टर नौशाद फोर्ब्स जी भारत की अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर प्रतिष्ठित लीडिंग प्रोसेस एनर्जी एफिशिएंट कंपनी फोर्ब्स मार्शल के को चेयरमैन हैं। वे अनंता एस्पन सेंटर एवं CTIER के चेयरमैन भी हैं और उनके द्वारा लिखी गई पुस्तक, प्रसिद्ध पुस्तक है द स्ट्रगल एंड द प्रॉमिस रिस्टोरिंग इंडियाज़ पोटेंशियल। इस पुस्तक में डॉक्टर नौशाद जी ने इंडिया की प्रगति से संबंधित जितने भी महत्वपूर्ण मुद्दे हैं उन सब पर बहुत अच्छे से चर्चा की है। उद्योगों, संस्थानों और नीति के बीच में सही संतुलन कैसे बनाया जाए, भविष्य में हम पूरे विश्व का नेतृत्व कैसे कर सकते हैं, हमारे युवाओं के लिए क्या किया जाना चाहिए, स्ट्रगल को प्रॉमिस में कैसा बदला जाए, इस पुस्तक को पढ़कर आप सभी जान सकते हैं। बहुत ही शानदार पुस्तक उन्होंने लिखी है और मैं अपील करूंगी कि आप सभी लोग ज़रूर इस पुस्तक को पढ़ें। और मैंने कहीं पढ़ा कि हाल ही में सर को बेंगलोर बिजनेस लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल में वर्ष 2023 के लिए सर्वश्रेष्ठ बिजनेस बुक का पुरस्कार भी मिला। तो जोरदार तालियों से अभिनंदन। ऐसे कई सम्मान, कई पुरस्कार उन्हें मिल चुके हैं और बहुत ही अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर विख्यात व्यक्ति हैं। जोरदार तालियों के बीच उनका स्वागत करते हुए मुझे हर्ष हो रहा है।
Dr. Ashish Lele, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your warm welcome. It's a great pleasure to be here with you. And I think I've found the translator for my book. So a very happy new year, first of all, everyone. You know, I'm here with some concern. For many years, I've been a critic of the CSR system and its role in India's industrial development. So when Ashish asked me to give this talk today, I felt both privileged and somewhat daunted. But as I've thought about it more and more, and it helped being on holiday last week, this is something I've looked forward to more and more. And I offer you these thoughts as someone who has long been convinced of the really immense richness of talent that exists within NCL, within all the scientists here, within all the PhD students and project heads here. And I'm also someone who's long been frustrated at how little Indian industry benefits from this great richness of talent. So I hope what I say will prompt some good discussion both today and in the future. One thing we all completely share, everyone in this room, is that innovation is vitally important to India's future. And research and development is at the heart of the innovation process. We all share that conviction. Second, for innovation to matter more for us as a country, three things must change must be transformed really in our R&D system. So as a country, first of all, we must invest much more in R&D. We currently invest about 0.7% of GDP in R&D. That 0.7% has been roughly flat for the last 40 years. So while many other countries have moved on, so we need to raise the overall investment in R&D in India between public and private sector. Second, this change in investment in R&D has to begin in Indian industry. We must increase the share of R&D in the country done in in-house R&D. It's currently about 0.3% of GDP. The world average is 1.5%. So Indian industry needs to scale its investments in in-house R&D by a factor of 5. So if you like, the first number I'd like you to remember is 5 times is what Indian industry needs to increase its investments in in-house R&D. And the third transformation is that the share of public research done within the higher education system must increase from 0.05%, which is what it is of GDP, which is what it is today in our country, to the world average of about 0.4%. So public research done within the higher education system needs to scale by a factor of 8. I'm going to argue today that NCL can play a critical role in all 3 of these transformations in our R&D system, in raising the total R&D that we do in the country, in raising the R&D that Indian industry does, and in raising the R&D that we do within the higher education system. And for NCL to do so, 3 things have to change. First, I think industry should both connect more with NCL and have the right expectations of NCL. Second, NCL, I think, needs to connect more with industry and must have the right expectations of industry. Too often, we have the wrong expectations of each other. Industry expects an R&D institute to provide a completely ready, completely tested, completely proven technology, which is a completely unreasonable expectation. We should expect an R&D institution to deal with certain specific challenges and problems that move the technology forward, but without solving every problem. Otherwise, what is industry's role? And equally, I think the expectation for industry should be that it invests more, that it try out more, that it experiment more, and that it take on the role of actually commercializing a particular technology and making it successful in the market. That's industry's job. So those 2 things need to change: right expectations of NCL from industry and right expectations of industry from NCL. And then the third thing, which I'll come to at the end, is that I think NCL needs to prioritize educating students and connecting more with other educational institutions. And I'll come back to that point and also say why a little later on. So let me start with some background, which is sort of my perspective of how industrial innovation happens. And the book that was mentioned has much more on this if you're interested. Popular belief says that scientific research leads to discoveries, that these discoveries enable the development of new technology, and this new technology feeds into production and the market. Now, I started with the phrase popular belief. This mental model, the linear model of innovation, is attractively simple, but it is also one small part of the total picture of how industrial innovation happens. Scientific research actually has a limited role in industrial innovation. But while it's a limited role, as I'll argue later, it is also a critical role. And it is a critical role in certain areas. And being clear on which those areas are is very vital to this fruitful collaboration. It's also good to be clear of the distinction between technology and science and development and research. Technology expands what we can do as human beings. It expands what we can do as practical possibilities. Science aims to attain an enhanced understanding of nature. The distinction is not so much in what is done. The actual work can often be very similar in when one is chasing a technological objective or a scientific objective. The distinction is more in the why. Utility is at the heart of technology as it is for engineering. It has to be useful. Knowledge may result from a new development, but that's not technology's purpose. A scientist aims at generating new ideas or knowledge. Utility may result from a scientific discovery, but that's not science's purpose. It's instead the new knowledge. It's when those two come together, when the new knowledge meets utility, that the most fruitful collaborations happen, and that's clearly what we're all about within NCL. Similarly, research aims at generating new knowledge. Development aims at developing a new product or service. And I think clarity on these concepts of what technology is, what science is, what development is, and what research is, can really save firms much wasted work and public research much wasted effort. Let me talk a little bit about the role of research in industrial innovation, and I'm focusing very much on industrial innovation. A friend of mine who was a professor of mechanical engineering at Stanford some years ago advanced a chain-linked model of innovation to replace the simple linear model. And there are a few things, I won't take you through it in detail, but there are a few things to note. First, that innovation, industrial innovation, starts with a market need and generally ends with going to market. So it starts and ends with the market. It doesn't start with discovery. Designing and testing is the core development activity. That's at the center of what firms do within what they call R&D. Knowledge plays a key role, not as a trigger for innovation, but as a repository that one draws on during the innovation process to solve problems. And research is what you do when the existing stock of knowledge is not enough to solve the problem. In other words, generating new knowledge is needed when everything else has failed. That's how the great bulk of industrial innovation happens in India and around the world. Industrial innovation is much more about development than research. We were talking about this earlier this morning, that in the US, a study done some years ago showed that development, R&D within US industry was about 80% development and 20% research. So it should probably be called development and research and not R&D. But that 20% research is essential if the company wishes to benefit from the research being done within the public research system. Because if it doesn't do that 20% of research, it will not connect with and not be able to understand and not even be able to communicate with the wider public research system. So far from being the dominant source of industrial innovation, new research matters to industrial innovation in two exceptional cases. First, advancement in certain fields, like biotechnology and semiconductors, has a close connection with scientific research. These are science-based technologies. And then second, and much more powerfully, scientific research has a much broader role as one of technology's wellsprings to reinvigorate technical progress in a particular field, or to come up with a whole new technological paradigm for industry. A few examples, if you take cloud computing taking over from in-house servers, for example, that's a new technology that's based on a new technological paradigm, based on a whole new scientific field. Or if you take an older example of the jet engine replacing the propeller, again, it comes from a new technological paradigm which then requires a base of scientific research. So scientific research is critical to technical advance in science-based industries and in the innovation of new technological paradigms. Typically, R&D in firms begins with learning from other firms, progresses to improving existing products through development, and only then comes to research as an activity aimed at generating new knowledge. In-house research aimed at producing new knowledge is a prerequisite, as I was saying just now, for using the output of the public research system. So in a way, public scientific research is particularly justified when firms are adequately advanced and investing substantially in research in addition to development. So because then public research can play as a wellspring for industrial innovation. What does this mean for NCL? It means then that one should start with those firms that are adequately technologically advanced and doing some research. I know that in the 1990s, NCL did a lot of sponsored research for firms, but it was more, I think, than foreign firms than local ones. And there's a very good reason why, which is that there were very few Indian firms in the 1990s that did enough research to appreciate the work that was being done here. I think things have changed, and there are today more and more Indian companies, still not enough to show in the aggregate data, but more and more Indian companies that are investing substantially in R&D. Many of them are already collaborating with NCL, and many more should. But I would also encourage NCL to very systematically reach out to maybe the top 100 or 200 R&D investors in the country and say, you know, what are they doing? What's happening there? How do we connect with? What would be useful for us to collaborate in? And I think, I think the ones that are most equipped to appreciate what you do are the ones that one should try to reach out to. A comment on technology readiness levels. As you know, the whole TRL process was designed by NASA for the space program going back to the 1970s. But it has broader relevance, and it's used quite widely in innovation in different sectors around the world. And as many have pointed out, the key gap is in the middle. It's not in the TRL 1, 2, 3 level, and it's not in the 7, 8, 9 level. It's in 4, 5, and 6. It's in the middle, right? And I was trying to think after Ashish's invitation, that what can we do between industry and NCL to bridge that gap, that in the middle technology readiness gap. And I think we have to come at it from both ends. We have to come at it from the technology push end, meaning how do we take a TRL3 technology successfully through the next 3 levels. And that, I think the responsibility will lie largely with where you have the TRL3 knowledge, which is within NCL. And you have to start at the other end, at the TRL 7, 8, 9 level, where you have companies working on a product which is not particularly exciting. It's not going to set the world on fire. And where maybe by greater knowledge of what's possible, which is what you can all provide, the industry can say, hey, listen, can I pull some technology into a higher level of readiness and then take on the commercialization of it. So I think we need to keep trying from both ends. And I would only encourage you to keep trying. And it doesn't matter if you try and don't succeed. It's one of those things that you have to keep doing again and again. And if one firm is not receptive, go to another firm and so on. Just as a company, if we don't find the right technology somewhere, go to another place, go to another place, go to another place, and keep looking and keep finding, searching until we actually get the right match. And I'm happy to help and connect NCL in general with Indian industry. Let me end with one large topic, which is the point on education. You know, very often one thinks that when you look at the US system, the most distinctive feature of the US innovation system, the most differentiating feature, if you like, is the prominence of its research universities and the success, the dominance that it has in the wider research university system. And many think that research universities are great sources for new scientific understanding. They are. You know, I spent most of my education, all of my higher education at Stanford, and Stanford is seen as a definitive contributor to Silicon Valley and its technology giants. The university deserves that reputation. But in my view, it's not Stanford's research output that should get the credit. Let me be crass and say that if the world had never seen the benefits of any of Stanford's research output in the 125 years of its existence, it might, just might, be slightly worse off. But if it had not seen the benefit of its students, it would be substantially worse off. So think about the number of great companies founded by Stanford students: Hewlett-Packard, Varian, Google, Yahoo, Uber, Twitter, Apple, if you consider Twitter to be a great company anyway, and hundreds more that have contributed more to the economy than all of Stanford's brilliant discoveries. And the contributions of hundreds of thousands of graduates over the years to the economy, science, literature, and every field is a multiple of what these giant companies contribute. The same is true of every great university. We have a few examples of combining world-class research with teaching in our own country. The Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore particularly stands out, but the Institute of Chemical Technology in Bombay, better known by its old name of UDCT, is our most noteworthy example. UDCT, founded in 1933, has long prided itself on its research. But consider the contribution it has made through its alumni. Here's a quick list: Mukesh Ambani for Reliance, Anji Reddy of Dr. Reddy's Labs, Madhukar Parekh of Pidilite, K.K. Garda of Garda Chemicals, Ashwin Dani of Asian Paints, Nilesh Gupta of Lupin, Ramesh Mashelkar, who you would all know, who was director here and DG of CSR, Seksaria, N. Seksaria of Ambuja Cements, M.M. Sharma, who many of you would know and would have taught you, I think, too, who himself led UDCT and then established its worldwide reputation. And by the way, one Dr. Ashish Lele. So the impact that graduates have on the world is always substantively greater than the impact that the research an institute has on the world. Ever since the world's first research university, the University of Berlin, was founded in the early 1800s, the purpose of a research university has been the search for knowledge. And that knowledge benefits humanity when it walks out of the university's door in the heads of its students. That is why research is so ideally done within the higher education sector. Now, what does this mean for NCL? Well, to come back to industrial innovation in general, for the great bulk of the world's R&D effort that takes place in hundreds of thousands of firms worldwide, we can worry about science, capital S, organized research effort. Or we can worry about science, small s, which is excellently educated students in science. Excellently educated students in science matters to all of this effort worldwide, for all the hundreds of thousands and millions of firms worldwide that try to do anything technically sophisticated. And that's why, as an educational institution, one can have an impact on industrial innovation very, very grandly, very much in huge scale. Right? So I believe NCL should play a bigger part in education. I know you run a large and very successful PhD program. I think many of you here are part of that program. And I'm very keen to help connect you with Indian industry, with the opportunities that exist in Indian industry, and to get Indian industry to connect with you and participate in your own research efforts such that the work you do can move further and faster and better and be more substantially supported. But I think we need to go beyond PhD programs. We need to expand the master's program, and I think collaborating between industry and NCL would be a very fruitful thing to do, and maybe we need to launch in each of the 6 broad thematic areas a master's program that different people from industry can valuably participate in, and it can, I think, be fully industry funded to make it really powerful and productive. And I hope at some point in time, a good large master's program will also encourage NCL to start getting involved in teaching undergraduates, because that's when you seed science, a research culture, an orientation towards how you do an experiment, what is science, what does it mean to start with some kind of a hypothesis in your head and then go out and try and prove it, and if you can't prove it, to be open to it being wrong, and so on and so forth. And I think that culture of science that was so much a part of the founding of NCL 74 years ago, I think that culture of bringing that wider culture of science and what research can do for our own individual development is the contribution that we should seek from NCL more widely in the country. So I think NCL could perhaps consider building education into a much more fundamental purpose for it going forward. I know I'm exceeding my remit, and greatness, because greatness in research and teaching really truly go hand in hand. Thank you very much for your attention.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। आपका यहाँ हमारे बीच में उपस्थित होना ही हमारे एनसीएल की और हम सबकी एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है, बहुत बड़ा गौरव है। इनफैक्ट आप हमारे नेशन का प्राइड हैं। आप और आपके परिवार ने जो नेशन की प्रगति में जो योगदान दिया और दे रहे हैं, बहुत गर्व की बात है हमारे लिए। और आपने आज यहाँ उपस्थित होकर बहुत ही बहुमूल्य प्रेरणा प्रदान की, बहुत से महत्वपूर्ण एग्जाम्पल भी शेयर किए, डेटा भी बताया और बहुत सारे बहुमूल्य सुझाव दिए जिससे एनसीएल इसे अपनाएं तो और भी अधिक प्रगति करेगा, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। और कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं हमारे माननीय निदेशक डॉक्टर लेले सर से निवेदन करूंगी कि कृपया आदरणीय सर का सत्कार करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। और कार्यक्रम की अगली कड़ी में मैं सादर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी मेरी सहयोगी डॉक्टर अनु रघुनाथन को कि आगे की कार्यवाही वे संभालें।
Welcome everyone. A very good morning to all of you once again. I can't wait to share that I'm here to perform a very pleasant task. And I think it's a little daunting now since we've heard this very thought-provoking lecture on paradigm shifts that are necessary for the Indian research ecosystem. And this task is actually to announce the NCL-RF or the Research Foundation Awards for scientists and staff for the year 2022-23. Every year on the occasion of the NCL Foundation Day, NCL Research Foundation recognizes the contributions made by our scientists and staff who have made a notable difference through their research and work. The future has been unfolding here for 75 years, from humble beginnings to groundbreaking discoveries, 75 years of memories, 75 years of progress. I request you all to stay back and wait for a special reveal after these RF awards at the end of the day. NCL, as you all know, is a unique organization, a very productive and a busy workplace, an amalgamation of basic science and application and translation. We nucleate and develop cutting-edge science, push forward the frontiers of knowledge. We publish papers, patents, deploy technologies, solve people's problems, train PhD students, and inspire the innovators of tomorrow. So I'm kind of, happy to present this perspective to Dr. Naushad Forbes. But it is only on occasions like this today that we can pause to acknowledge the team effort that takes to building such an organization, actually an institution. Institutions are dreamt of and built by people. NCL has been fortunate that we have many such dreamers, doers, visionaries who choose to work with us and still continue to do so. And NCL Research Foundation, RF, is proud to be associated with the activity of giving out these awards. The NCL Research Foundation Award is a simple yet powerful expression of our gratitude. It recognizes the invaluable contributions made by each and every member of the NCL family. The contribution made by our staff, our scientists, students, everyone associated with us in one way or the other. We wish to take a moment to thank and acknowledge all those contributions made over the years. And we are proud that we've accomplished this together, and we look forward to continuing our journey of discovery and progress. A little bit about the NCL RF Foundation. The NCL Research Foundation is a non-government body. It was registered in 1990 as a non-profit public trust. The primary aim of this foundation is to motivate and recognize the high level of team and individual efforts of scientists, staff, research students for their contributions to sustaining the following values at CSIR-NCL. The first being sustained excellence in science and technology. The next, contribution in creation of wealth in society through science and technology. Individual efforts beyond the call of normal duty, and the constant endeavor to improve productivity and efficiency. Through several named lectures, the NCL RF also honors many men and women who made NCL proud, and through this keeps their legacy alive and pays tribute to their lasting contributions. It is fully supported by donations made by individuals and companies. It is managed by a distinguished board of trustees drawn from academia, industry, and public life. With this brief introduction, I would like to move on to announcing the NCL RF Awards for the year 22-23. All the following awards carry a certificate of commendation. So are you all ready for the, So are you all ready for the first award presentation? I would like to request Dr. Naushad Forbes to present all these awards today. The first award that we will hand out is the NCL RF Scientist of the Year Award. This is for scientists in the age group above 40 years, and the award winner is Dr. Ravinder Kontham. He has been awarded this for the stereoselective total synthesis of biologically active natural products and development of novel synthetic methodologies. Congratulations, Dr. Kontham. I request Dr. Ravinder Kontham to make a few brief remarks before exiting.
I would like to thank NCL Research Foundation for selecting me this prestigious award. So this credit goes to basically for all my hardworking and brilliant students. So without them, really it is impossible. And also I would like to thank my wife Kalpana and my children Rishi and Roshni for bearing my working hours at the lab. And thank you all of my colleagues of NCL. Thank you.
The next NCL RF Award for the Best Technology of the Year goes to Dr. Syed Dastagir and Dr. Meghna Thorat for the process for bacterial nanocellulose from indigenous bacteria, Contagiter rhyticus. Congratulations. I request Dr. Dastagir and his team to make brief remarks.
Thank you to the RF Foundation. This is actually work started by a project trainee taken into a technology. We started in 2014 by one project trainee on bacterial nanocellulose. Now the 3 PhDs have been awarded on those aspects. The all credit goes to the students and the supporting staff of NCIM. Thank you.
Dr. Dastagir, as we have you on stage, we would also like to take this opportunity to share with everyone that recently he has been awarded the NACI Scopus Young Scientist Award 2022-23 under the category of Environmentally Sound Sustainable Development to recognize India's most promising researchers who are working in the field of earth, environmental, oceanographic and ecological studies, social sciences and ecosystem, and are contributing to protect our planet and conserving its natural resources. The award is a joint collaboration between Elsevier and the National Academy of Sciences India, NACI. I request Dr. Naushad Forbes to hand over the award trophy citation to Dr. Dastagir. Congratulations to him again. So the next award is the NCL-RF Award for the Best Process of the Year. I think we have 2 awards in this category. The first goes to Dr. Amol Kulkarni, Mr. Tabrez Sheikh, and Dr. B. Sharma for the continuous process for solvent-free solid phase synthesis of metformin hydrochloride. Amol. Congratulations. I request the award team to make some brief remarks.
Yeah, first of all, we thank the NCL-RF for choosing this technology for process development for this year award. We worked on this kind of process a few years back when Dr. Brijesh Sharma, who was a PhD student from Organic Chemistry Department, who was working with us. The primary aim was that we wanted to see whether we can make processes solvent-free, because solvents are neither reactants nor products, but they are used in significantly large quantities when any organic reactions are done. And we had started questioning that, and we felt like let's try to do a few reactions without using solvents. And this metformin hydrochloride was one such product, which is like one of the largest used drug molecules for diabetes. And when we tried this, we got some remarkable results. And now we have a kind of continuous process without using solvents. It's a solid-solid reaction that takes place in 1 minute, and we get more than 99.7% pure product at the outlet of the reactor. So I thank both the students, Dr. Brijesh as well as Tabrez, for taking it to this level. Thank you very much.
The next NCL-RF Award for the Best Process of the Year goes to Dr. Rahul Bambure and Mr. Sunil Rana. This is for the process chromatography-assisted downstream processing of anti-snake venoms. Congratulations.
I'm very thankful for this award, and I'm very humbled to receive this on efforts of for my industrial collaborators, majorly Hafkin Institute and CRI Kasoli. So we have developed this process majorly for manufacturing of various anti-snake venoms, and I'm very thankful to biochemical engineering team involving Sunil Rana, Mr. Mahendra Jagtap, Dr. Naneshwar Thakar, and Dr. Mahesh. Thank you all, thanks.
So the next NCLRF award for new initiative taken by R&D support system goes to the following people. Mr. A.R. Joshi, Mr. S.R. Zogdand, Mr. D.P. Jadhav, Mr. C.R. Sangurde, Mr. Sandeep Gaikwad. This is in realization of their diligent and inventive work in designing a motorized material handling trolley and in-house fabrication of gas cylinder trolleys. These efforts have significantly aided the scientific community in the safe and smooth transportation of heavy items, including solvent cans and gas cylinders at NCL.
So, on behalf of ESU, I thank you so much for this recognition. Thanks a lot.
So now moving on to the NCLRF Individual Merit Awards. The first one goes to Mr. P.K. Purushottamam in acknowledgement of his dedicated efforts in overseeing administrative matters at the Student Academic Office, specifically in relation to the admission and progress of PhD students.
Yeah, for me it's a New Year gift. Thank you very much for the award. Thank you.
The next Individual Merit Award goes to Mr. Sudnayan Sham Dhavre in recognition of his committed and sincere efforts in promptly disposing of unserviceable items, resulting in the generation of substantial funds at CSIR-NCL, and this is almost up to 1.87 crores. Would you like to say something?
Thanks for giving me the responsibility to complete this task. Thank you so much.
The next Individual Merit Award goes to Dr. Tejas Gaidankar. It is in appreciation of his dedicated and sincere service in effectively overseeing events, incorporating stage management with audio and video support, and demonstrating leadership qualities by implementing cost-effective and innovative solutions.
Uh, See, I'm blessed that I've got so much support from Suresh, Rajesh, Director Sir, and very lucky to have a team like Sanjay, Anand, and Sagar, and it is all their efforts. Thank you.
The last in the category of Individual Merit Award goes to Mrs. Shobha Kamath in acknowledgement of her diligent and dedicated efforts in effectively managing administrative tasks related to personal files and all matters concerning the service of regular staff members.
I thank all the authorities for acknowledging my work and recognizing my name for this award. Thank you very much.
So moving on to the NCLRF Directors Commendation Award, the first set of people that I'd like to call on stage are Mr. Amol Bhagat, Mr. Dayal Saini, Mr. Kaushal Kumar, and Mrs. Pooja Kulkarni. This is for the excellent service rendered for settling important pending legal matters.
For recognizing our efforts. Actually, when this organization like NCL works, there are many unforeseen forces. हिंदी में कहेंगे बहुत सारी अदृश्य शक्तियाँ काम करती रहती हैं. So our legal team को उन शक्तियों को tackle करना होता है बहुत effectively. That is what this team has done. Very effectively, this team has managed so many legal complications. And I would also like to thank our advocate, very learned advocate, Mr. Anil Kumar. He helped us immensely, and many landmark judgments have come in our favor. We are trying to minimize all the legal cases. So thank you so much. I thank everybody, even beyond this team, who have helped this team in achieving this goal. Thank you so much.
The next set of people who have received the Director's Commendation Award are Mr. Satya Pankaj, Mr. Vishwanath Bagalkoti, Mr. Sham Suryavamshi, Mr. Amol Pathak, Mr. Rajendra Kakade, Mr. Kaushal Kumar, and Mrs. Pooja Kulkarni. This is for completing recruitment drives and resolving some critical issues at NCL. Please give them a big applause.
Once again, thank you so much, NCLRF, for recognizing this effort. Actually, hiring in public funded organization is always very challenging. And we have completed some processes despite many challenges, many levels. And as director has planned to hire more talents for CSIR-NCL, we will be working very hard to obtain that objective. I'll thank all the teams, the entire administration, finance, purchase. There are many scientists who have worked very hard, like Dr. Shubhangi and many other people. I'll also like to thank our guest house, our transport services, many other people who have helped this team immensely. And I assure that we will, हम सब आपके उम्मीदों पर और खड़े उतरेंगे अगले साल. Thank you very much.
The next Director's Commendation Award goes to Mr. Ajinkya Ghorpade, Mr. Gyan Prakash Singh, and Mr. Dheeraj. This is for resolving critical matters in finance and accounts, which ensure timely receipts of critical funding tranches. Please give them a big applause.
Thank the director, Dr. Ashish Lele, and the Research Foundation for recognition of basically what was our job. And on behalf of Dheeraj sir, also I thank you. Yeah.
I do want to clarify here. The reason this award is given to this team is because sometimes googlies come from Delhi, and this one was a big googly. And they said that funding for CSIR will not, the labs will not come until a certain issue called outstanding balance and receipts is not met. And we had a big pending number of OBs and BRS, and funding would not have come if this issue was not settled. And if funding did not come, I think all of you would be very in a bad mood, right? So a small team of people made sure that all those things were closed and funding came. And in fact, CSIR-NCL is one of the few labs in CSIR who has done extremely well and is a role model. In fact, our COFA has been asked to go and teach other labs of how to address this issue. So it's an exemplary piece of work beyond the duty that you mentioned here. Thank you.
The last Director's Commendation Award goes to Mr. Anil Palgadmal and Mr. Gati Nayak for professional management of CSIR's guest house beyond their normal call of duty. Please give them a big applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Director Sir for this recognition. But I think behind my recognition, one person is there, who is Mr. Shedke. He is cook of our guest house, and he is very expert, and he know each and every member's taste. Means what Dr. M.M. Sharma needs, what our Mashalkar sir needs, and each and every foreigner who frequently visit our lab. So I must thank him first. Because of him only I could get this recognition. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the name of our section officer CNP, Satya Prakash Pankaj. So for achieving this award for recruitment team, he was instrumental. He worked immensely. And for that only, he has been selected by CSIR and has been placed at CSIR-RAB for entire recruitment drive of CSIR to monitor. So I also congratulate him from here. Thank you.
So now is everyone ready for the big showstopper, the big reveal I mentioned earlier? So today we will raise the curtain and mark the start of our 75th year on our Platinum Jubilee celebrations. So here's to a legacy of excellence and a future brimming with boundless possibilities. So let's get ready to see where it leads. I request our chief guest, Dr. Naushad Forbes, to raise the curtain and reveal our Platinum Jubilee logo and tagline. So this tagline, NCL at 75, Catalyzing Innovations, was arrived at through an open call made to students to submit their ideas for a tagline. I would like to acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Niklesh Yadav and Ms. Manisha Wankhedkar in getting the logo designed and ready for this final reveal. The two student taglines were used to arrive at this final one, and we wish to acknowledge these students for their contributions. I request Akhil Patania to come to the stage, and also request Ashwini Verma to come to the stage to collect the certificate of appreciation. So with this showstopper, we come to the end of the award ceremony, and I'd like to thank all of you for your support and enthusiasm, and also the chief guest and the director for helping us conduct it. I now request Ms. Swati Chada to propose the vote of thanks.
थैंक यू डॉक्टर अनु, बहुत ही प्रभावशाली तरीके से आपने इसकी अवार्ड सेरेमनी की एंकरिंग की, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और सभी अवार्ड विनर्स को बहुत बहुत बधाई, हार्दिक हार्दिक बधाई। और निश्चित रूप से ये आपकी करियर लाइफ का एक सितारा है। आप सबके सम्मान में कहना चाहूँगी, सितारों से आगे जहाँ और भी हैं, अभी सैकड़ों कारवां और भी है। तो ये कामना करती हूँ कि ऐसे अनेकों अनेकों अवार्ड आप जीते, एनसीएल की प्रगति में चार चांद लगे। इसी कामना के साथ हम बढ़ते हैं अपने अंतिम चरण में। अंतिम किंतु महत्वपूर्ण, लेकिन उसके पहले घोषणा करना चाहूँगी कि कृपया 2 मिनट के लिए आपकी उपस्थिति बनाए रखिए। तो अंतिम चरण है वोट ऑफ थैंक्स, और यह कठिन जिम्मेदारी भी मुझे दी गई है, तो मैं इसे न्याय करने की पूरी कोशिश करूँगी। सबसे पहले मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी हमारे पूरे CSIR-NCL परिवार की ओर से हमारे माननीय चीफ गेस्ट डॉक्टर नौशाद फोर्ब्स जी को, कि जिन्होंने आज इस अवसर पर बहुत अपनी बहुमूल्य उपस्थिति बनाई, हमें बहुत प्रेरणा दी, अपने व्यस्त शेड्यूल से समय निकाला। आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। इसके उपरांत मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी हमारे माननीय डायरेक्टर डॉक्टर आशीष लेले जी को, जिनके प्रेरणा में, जिनके मार्गदर्शन में ये पूरा कार्यक्रम संपन्न हुआ। इसके बाद धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी पूरी इवेंट मैनेजमेंट टीम को। मैं हर किसी का नाम नहीं ले सकती क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग जुड़े हैं। आज आपको ये कार्यक्रम कुछ घंटों का दिखाई दे रहा है, कई दिनों की मेहनत है, आगे भी रहेगी। तो सभी को तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देती हूँ, तहे दिल से शुक्रिया करती हूँ। और कार्यक्रम से जुड़ी साथी विभिन्न व्यवस्थाएँ हैं, उन सब से जुड़े हुए जो अधिकारी कर्मचारीगण हैं, जिन्होंने प्रत्यक्ष रूप से या अप्रत्यक्ष रूप से इसमें सहयोग दिया है, उन्हें हार्दिक हार्दिक रूप से धन्यवाद। और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण और भी बोलना चाहूँगी, आप ऑडियंस को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी, जिनकी उपस्थिति से ये कार्यक्रम बन सका, चाहे आप ऑनलाइन रूप से उपस्थित हैं, चाहे ऑफलाइन रूप से। तो सभी को धन्यवाद और नव वर्ष की शुभकामनाएं देते हुए कार्यक्रम का समापन करना चाहूँगी। जय हिंद।